10 weeks after the close of the 1941 season, Japanese planes attacked American soil. The United States jumped headlong into a war already raging across the globe. Despite the manpower needed for the war, President Roosevelt insisted that the nation's pastime continue. Baseball helped sustain troop morale and was a welcome diversion for a country hard at work. Rainiers baseball forged ahead, but the draft depleted the roster of Vanny, Gregory, and others.
The Pacific Coast League was hurt because a lot of its stars went up to the major leagues. JoJo White and Cupid Dick Barrett were two of them, and even Bill Schuster, who was with Los Angeles at the time, they went up to the major leagues to take the place of the Joe DiMaggio's, Bob Fellers, and Ted Williams, who were in the service at the time.
Wartime concessions became part of the game. Transporting the nation's troops received priority over traveling baseball teams. Games were often postponed several times, made up later in a barrage of doubleheaders. The end of the 1942 season found Seattle in third, while Sacramento redeemed itself with a pennant. Manpower shortages continued to change the Rainiers roster in 1943. Briefly filling in for an injured Rainiers catcher, Emmett Watson went 1 for 2 at the plate, securing a lifetime batting average of .500. The war years saw the breakup of the Rainiers dynasty. Seattle's 1944 and 45 teams finished 5th and 2nd. 1946 welcomed the return of some familiar faces. JoJo White brought his aggressive base-stealing attitude back to the team as the first player-manager since 1937. The ever-popular Cupid Dick Barrett also returned home, and on one Sunday in 1948, pulled off the ultimate pitching feat.
In his 24th season as a professional pitcher, Round Richard finally did it yesterday. A no-hit, no-run game. Not a Sacramento runner reaching first base. It marks the first perfect game ever tossed by a Seattle hurler, Leo Lassen.
Unfortunately, JoJo White's exceptional skills as a player did not extend to managing. In his first season, Seattle tied with Portland for dead last, 43 games out of first place. For the next 4 years, the Rainiers would fail to finish higher than 4th. Oddly enough, the team drew bigger crowds than ever. Fueled by a growing aerospace industry, Seattle's post-war boom brought thousands of new fans to the ballpark. Attendance averaged 500,000 or more each year.
Everywhere you went, they're talking about the Rainiers. The players were the big sports stars. The parade for the opening day of the season, it's bigger than anything we have today. My dad and mom, who would never let us out of class, we got to go to opening day game.
Growing up as children of immigrants, baseball was kind of our introduction to America and American pastime activities. First learning how to play baseball in elementary school and then being able to attend the Seattle Rainiers games. So it was just kind of a force that unified us and really helped bridge the cultures that we represented to the American way of life.
To supplement their income, many Rainier players remained in Seattle, working during the off-season. At Frederick and Nelson downtown, infielders Dick Geiselman and Gilly Campbell could be found on the second floor, selling suits, while Joe Coscarot was a familiar face at the local florist. For co-workers and customers, these everyday interactions spread loyalty, giving fans a personal interest in the team. But the ball players were not the only characters at Six.
There was a fan and businessman in Seattle, Charles E. Sullivan. He had a florist.
And every time a Seattle player hit a home run and they'd be coming in, going to the dugout, he'd hand a $10 bill out to him.
He would come down right above my head and hand that $10 out through the fencing. It was really a lot of fun, and the players looked forward to it, because $10 in those days was a lot of money.
One of the outstanding talents fans came to see in the late 40s was a third baseman from Tennessee. Hillis Lane was a dominant force on a team struggling to keep out of the cellar. In 1947, Lane captured the PCL batting title, hitting .367. The following year, he led his team, averaging .342. With Paul Richards at the helm in 1950, Seattle lost 43 of their first 50 games. A year so hopeless, when Ito Vanny was sent into left field after 4 San Diego home runs, he asked, which side of the fence do you want me to play on? Despite a pitiful season, Seattle's crowd witnessed Blackjack Jim Wilson win 15 straight games, and pitcher Al Lyons hit one of the longest home runs in Six history, a towering drive over the center field flagpole. Back in Detroit, Fred Hutchinson had redeemed himself from his debut against the Yankees, becoming a regular on the Tigers' starting rotation. In 1940, he pitched relief in the 37th World Series, and in '51 took the mound for the American League All-Star team.
In his 6 years in the big leagues, Fred Hutchinson has always been with Detroit. Fred bats them left, but is a right-handed pitcher. He won 15 games last year for the Tigers.
With 14 years of experience as a professional ballplayer, Hutch would go on to work double duty as pitcher and manager. '51 marked the Rainiers' 10th season without a pennant. Frustrated by his team's mediocrity, Emil Sick stretched his wallet to hire a proven manager. Known as the Raja, Rogers Hornsby had been one of the greatest players to ever swing a bat. In his 19 years of major league play, he averaged .358, a number most players never see in their best season. With such unparalleled abilities, Hornsby had little patience when his players failed to meet his expectations.
Hornsby talks tough, plays tough, and cracks a whip like a Missouri mule skinner. But he has his gang playing chins up, heads up baseball, and winning Royal Brome.
Hornsby put together a roster of speed and pitching. Throughout the month of May, Seattle battled with Hollywood for the top seed. By mid-June, they took first place and never looked back. Hornsby's greatest weapon that year was an obscure new recruit signed from the Puerto Rican Winter League. Outfielder Jim Rivera matched the Raja's single-minded determination. One reporter wrote, "He runs in the outfield like a deer, on the bases like an express train, and he throws like a rifle."
He was rough, tough, and he never shaved, and he was a hustling fool.
Jungle Jim was playing center field, and the ball was hit to deep center field, and it was hit hard in a line drive. And he went back, and he laid himself out and got up and threw the ball back in as if nothing happened. That was pure poetry in motion, and that was something that even in my dreams I haven't done.
By season's end, Rivera was on top of nearly every offensive category and was named the league's most valuable player. Pitcher Marv Grissom led the PCL with 20 victories. On September 5, 1951, Emil Sick got what he paid for. The Rainiers triumphed over the Oakland Oaks to claim their first pennant since 1941. During the off-season, the Rainiers lost Hornsby to the American League's St. Louis Browns, and with him his discovery, Jim Rivera. In 1952, the color barrier that had fallen 5 years earlier in the major leagues was finally broken in Seattle. Artie Wilson and Bob Boyd became the first black players to wear a Rainiers uniform and immediately earned the team's respect.
Bob Boyd was an excellent ball player, good first baseman, good hitter. He could hit the long ball for a little guy and could run.
Shortstop Artie Wilson, with his base-stealing talent, became a favorite among Seattle fans. At the plate, Wilson led the league in base hits and averaged .312, landing nearly every hit no more than 15 feet from the third baseline.
And they'd have 4 and 5 men over there. Nobody in center field around the first base, nobody. First baseman was over there by second base.
During spring training, roommates Wilson and Boyd made a promise. One of them would win the PCL batting title for 1952. Back and forth the contest went, with the leadoff and number 2 hitter battling for the best average throughout the season.
If I wasn't on base, Boyd was on. The last game of the season in Seattle, we was tied up. Base hits, batting average. I got 2 for 5, he got 3 for 5 last game, and he beat me out. I was happy because he was going up to the White Sox.
Despite Boyd's PCL batting title, the newly nicknamed Suds finished third, and interest in the team began to wane. The next season, Al Widmar and Vern Kinsfather won 20 games each, and the Rainiers climbed to second, But the 1954 season found the Rainiers scraping bottom again, finishing 5th and drawing fewer than 2,000 fans per game. Emil Sick needed help. Once a dominant force in the league, the organization now needed a quick turnaround. Sick responded by promoting Dewey Soriano as the new general manager. With his sights set on returning the Rainiers to the level he witnessed his rookie season, Soriano knew just what the team needed.